That night, a procession came to invite us to a ceremony the next day.
Jodi's cousin Sitra was to have her ears pierced. Jodi had to go hungry to pay for the ceremony, to which she was not even invited. The cultural customs are very important to the Dalits. They will practice them despite their poverty.
Me and my grandmother have to live on the money I earn at embroidering. My uncle took my money to pay for my cousin's ceremony. I haven't had hardly anything to eat for about 3 days because we haven't any money left.
This is a Hindu ceremony, even though the Hindu religion does not allow the Dalits into the temple of caste people.
In the context of the Indian society, which is largely a Hindu culture, Dalits basically imitated the Hindu culture and imitated the Hindu practices. So if I speak English, I speak like an Indian. No, my English is an Indianized English. Similarly, the Dalits' practice of the religion also is, let us say, a Hindu-like.
Certain portion of Dalits, they believe that practicing the custom of the upper caste people gives some certain pride. So they practice it.
The hard physical work affects the Dalits' health. The girls have open sores from working at the embroidery.
Does it burn? Does it burn? Yes. Where here?
When they have health problems, they don't have money also to go and get them treated, as well as they don't have time also to go and look after themselves. So with this, their health problems are increasing day by day, and they have a lot of problems. And what happens ultimately, after sometimes they become helplessness, they cannot earn anything, and they lose the whole family.
Try and lay down.
Even if I am ill, I don't think about going to hospital. I think about going to work. It costs 10 rupees to go to the hospital, and I've never had a day of sick in my life.
Nancy. You okay?
Supa is a community health worker from Prepare. She visits the Dalit communities and offers advice and treatment. One reason that the Dalits are so dependent on the landowner is their illiteracy. They are intimidated by state banks. Prepare have organized an informal banking system. Now they can try and escape the cycle of bonded labor. Or, like Chandra, try and save some money for their future security. A fortune teller arrived in the colony. We asked him to read Jodi's cards.
சரியா? வணக்கம் சொல். பார்க்கவே அசுவனிதான் உதயமாகில் ஜாதகருக்கு பல தொழில் காரணத்தால் கண்ணியமாக வீட்டில் வாழ்வு தரும்.
The fortune teller told me that since I have a birthmark on my chin, whatever I say will come true. He also says I will get beaten by my father, uncle and grandmother. I was told that I would cheat on my future husband, but he would be faithful to me.
We asked Jody what her wish would be for the future. She told us, a husband who does not beat her and enough rice every day. While we stayed in the colony, we managed to give Jody enough rice every day. It is very difficult to know when to give help as an outsider and when it only causes jealousy. Jaya Marie's future is to keep on working and hope her sons will take care of her when she's old.
As long as we can, we'll work and be able to eat. But if we can't work, nobody is going to feed us. So we think it's better to die while we're healthy.
Chandra lives with one of her sons, but he may leave soon and go and find work in the city. Many Dalits prefer living in the slums of the big cities, where they can escape from the stigma of caste. The hardship and poverty the Dalit suffer is obvious. It is harder to understand how the stigma of untouchability affects them.
Well, everyone is so eager. Everyone is first and foremost want to talk about the caste. In the work setting, before you enter into an education, during your course of education, when you come out of the education, when you get into the job, during your work time or after your work time, everything is so conditioned by what caste that you belong.
It's
impossible to get rid of caste. My son started school when he was 5 years old. The first question he was asked when he got there was what caste does he belong to?
By making his caste known, he is not going to make himself proud. Nobody is going to look at him with respect. He will be only always looked at with contempt.
Has anything changed since the 1950s law to abolish untouchability?
And even the shade of the Dalit falling upon the other upper caste people is considered as pollution. Everything was considered as a pollution some years ago. But right now things are changed, maybe in his practices. But the idea is still there.
We were not allowed to smoke or to be seen to cover our legs below our knees. We were basically forbidden to wear any good clothes like trousers or shirts. And we were not even allowed to ride bicycles. But we were made to walk without shoes, even in the dirt.
So the religion says that you should not be polluted by touching other person. You should not mingle with an untouchable. So in that way, by touching another person, by mingling with another person, with eating with Dalit, then you are getting polluted and therefore you are not pleasing God. In other words, the social custom has got a religious connotation. And this is basically the psychic of the Indian. In order to make one believe, people introduce religious connotations in that. Now, this gives a powerful position to the religion. Religion does not operate only within the temples, does not operate only within certain festivals. But religion in India operates every aspect of life. People want to maintain their interest. In order to maintain their power and interest, as well as their control over another people, they were using caste system as a major tool. And having got a religious sanction for the caste system, it is better to continue this untouchability with the people.
Do they believe that they have done something wrong in their previous lives to be polluted or to be where they are now?
They are also told that because of your karma, because of your bad deeds, your wretchedness, you are born as a Dalit. And because of your lowliness, you are eating meat, and your ugliness and your dirty life conditions, make you much more lower than other people. They do believe that they are polluted themselves because they have been told that you are polluted. And if you are told 1001 times, day in and day out, that you are polluted, you are dirty, and your mind and your psychic absorbs that, and you are believing and operating on that basis. They have lost the power of thinking. They have lost the power of rationality. They have lost the power of understanding. And they were in a way made as worse than animals. Even if for slaves, they may be able to think, but their condition was much lower than the slavery, and therefore their capacity to think and rationalize is so badly limited.
It is difficult for the Dalits to demand their rights. Ramdas told us what happened to him when he asked for water for his fields.
கொஞ்ச நாளைக்கு முன்னால நான் கைனிக்கு போனேன். அந்த நேரத்துல மேல் ஜாதிகாரங்க தான் என் கைனிக்கு மேல் கைனிக்காரு. எப்பவுமே அவங்க அங்க இருந்து தான் தண்ணி எடுக்கணும் என் கைனிக்கு.
One day I went to my rice field, which was completely dried up. The only place I could get water from was the next field, which belongs to the higher caste man. He has lots of water. But when I asked him for some water, he refused to give me any, and then he got really angry and even tried to hit me. I was too scared to hit him back because he has lots of power and influence. Obviously, I had to defend myself. Even though I'd only tried to defend myself, I was still taken to court and made to apologize. I also had to pay a very heavy fine in front of the whole village. For generations, we have been like slaves to the higher castes, looking after their cattle and growing their food. They have been rich from the start, having all the land and money. They wouldn't even let us wear shirts. We were only allowed to work for them.
These people, they possess the business, they control the business, they control the economy, they control the land, they control the means of production, and they also control the politics, the police, the financial institutions, the bureaucracy, and the legislature, the parliament. Every system, every institution is in control of this caste people. So, seeking justice through judicial or non-judicial process, for him, he has to pay a price. So, justice for Dalit is is very difficult even for him to dream about. And how he is going to find justice? Okay, that is what we are now struggling through prepare.
Prepare are trying to give power to the Dalits by educating them. They use songs and street theatre to tell the Dalits that they are treated unfairly by society.
இந்த நாட்டை நாங்க ஆண்ட பரம்பரத்தா இன்னைக்கு அடிமையா கிடக்குறங்க அரசியல்வாதி கிட்ட ஆண்டமாறு கிட்ட இன்னைக்கு அடிமையா கிடக்குறங்க அரசியல்வாதி கிட்ட ஆண்டமாறு கிட்ட ஐயா சுதந்திர நாட்டினில சுடுகாட்டுக்கு பாதை இல்ல இந்த சுதந்திர நாட்டினில சுடுகாட்டுக்கு பாதை இல்ல என்ன சுதந்திரம்.
Many people have tried to help the untouchables. The most famous is Mahatma Gandhi. Gandhi renamed the untouchables as Harijans, meaning children of God. He made the world aware of the situation, but never managed to achieve equality for the Dalits. The real hero of the Dalits today is Dr. B.R. Ambedkar.
Ambedkar found that unless and until there is an end to caste system, there is absolutely no chance for the Dalits.
Ambedkar was a Dalit. Despite being born an outcast, Ambedkar fought the system. In 1950, Ambedkar wrote the Indian Constitution, which guarantees all its citizens equal rights.
We, the people of India, having solemnly resolved to constitute India into a sovereign and democratic republic, and to secure to all its citizens justice, liberty, equality, and to promote among them all fraternity, assuring the dignity of the individual.
Untouchability was abolished in the Constitution. Very soon Ambedkar realised that equal rights were only guaranteed on paper. He symbolically burnt a copy of the Indian Constitution. Economic help, education and jobs in industry have been offered to the Dalits by the government.
The question is more social than economic. All these concessions, the economic concessions, or whether you may give bullock carts, or whether you may give some monetary or material assistance, it is not going to make them touchable. It is not going to make them, socially relieved from the stigma. In the Indian society, what Ambedkar wanted was basically an equality. He wanted, you want to, if you want to purify, you purify the Hindu religion, number one. By purifying Hindu religion, you can do away with the caste system. And to do away with the caste system, you can also consider like intermarriages. Right? Through intermarriages, you can do away with the caste system. You can purify your Hindu religion. All right? So these are some of the practical things he suggested. He was not asking a big deal.
Ambedkar's message to the Dalit community was to educate, agitate and organise.
Ambedkar said that we should create condition for Dalits to educate themselves. Now this is the education that I am talking about. This is an education of reflection. It's an education of self-reflection. It's an education of group reflection. It's an education of community reflection. The moment they see their enemy, then they know how to deal with their enemy. But they are not able to see their enemy because their eye is blind. Their heart is blind. So through this education, we'll be able to open up their mind, open up their eyes, and they will be able to see, and they will be able to see how their enemy can be dealt with.
Prepare are taking up Ambedkar's plea and have directed their education through the Dalit women. The women have strength from being at the centre of the Dalit community and have a ready-made network through their work in the fields.
Our experience showed that women are much more powerful as well as a solid group through whom we could do something like.
Prepare have organised the women into committees or sangams. These sangams give a voice to the Dalit community and teach the women about their rights. It provides a space for the women to develop their skills and gives them confidence to question their treatment.
We didn't know how to talk to anyone important before. After joining the Sangam, we had the chance to talk to policemen or inspectors. Before that, we didn't know anything, and if we saw someone in trousers or a shirt, we'd be scared.
There are 45 Sangams in the area Prepare is working in. In 1993, 3,000 women from the Sangams marched against the inequalities of caste and oppression by men.
Finally, our idea is that this should become as a political process. So people of these groups have to finally enter into the political process.
Because untouchability is part of the culture, Prepare are trying to break this pattern. The culture says that Dalits are not allowed to own cows. So Prepare provide loans for Dalit women to buy cows so that they can sell the milk and enter into the economy. By owning a cow, a Dalit woman is given respect and dignity in her own community. The milk is sold in Prepare's name, as caste people will not buy milk from Dalits.
A casteless society is what we are working towards. And it is possible that we have created here and there in this part of the world that our women as a central of Dalit liberation, Dalit organization and Dalit education. Because we know for sure that the whole Hindu system is patriarchal system, is a man-oriented system, is man-oriented economy, it is man-oriented politics. Whereas in the Dalit culture, in Dalit society, it is a woman who is center, a woman who is the first one. Thus we see that Dalit liberation and Dalit emancipation is largely in the hand of the woman, particularly the Dalit woman.